We will be free! For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order!
Okay, the 13th, unlucky 13, but it's Thursday the 13th. You ready? You know I always do that to you. Boy, I had psyched you out on one. You kept going, wait a minute. All right. A tie vote, A, adopts some, oh, you got an easy one. Okay, starting over. You bastard. A tie vote.
I'm not Kenny. I didn't kill Kenny.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
A tie vote adopts the motion, which is A. B, can be considered a majority vote. C, permits the chair to break the tie. D, requires the chair to break the tie.
Okay, well, it definitely isn't the first two. No way in the world, because you can't have a majority if it's a 50-50 tie. Because the majority is 50-50 plus one, and it doesn't adopt a damn thing because you got to have at least a majority to adopt something. So that means we're left with either the chair can break the tie, or what was the last one?
Requires the chair
It doesn't require the chair to break the tie. The answer is C, that the chair may break the tie, because the chair, as a member, doesn't normally vote, but still has the right to vote if they choose to do so. You can't mandate it. They have the option.
Because that was such an easy thing, and we'll go to the pages, but I thought of a good segue for this, because I actually heard from some sick souls who said they enjoyed sometimes when we brought in additional information. And this is very pertinent to the Libertarian Party. Some people might be going, what do you mean the chair doesn't normally vote? Because the experience some people have is just of going to their local board, their state party board, and
Right.
if it's below 12-ish, because Robert says around 12, it's considered a small board.
I thought that was 20. But yeah.
No, it's 12.
He was being a robot.
He had the floor.
He was being
You're talking about protocol and transcripts and all that.
He
You
was
have to have an order and transition.
telling the truth.
Order.
Let's have a little order.
Robert's Rules of Order.
All right.
You're not paying attention.
Let's have a little order.
Want to bet? God, I'm so competitive. Oh, I got such a gambling problem.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
Okay. Alrighty. So, I lost my train of thought.
People show up at local stuff.
Oh, so they show up at the local board meetings or the state party board meetings, and they're small. And Roberts is relaxed. There's something called small committee rules. Mm-hmm. And in small committee rules, the distinction between the chair and the membership is lessened. The chair can make motions and vote freely in a small committee. Some chairs choose not to, but others don't. And what's interesting, and I know why you thought it was 20, I think because of the platform committee having 20 people on it. Any committee, the chair has the same rights as in a small board. So in a committee, the chair can vote, the chair can make a motion, and all that. Now I'm chairing the platform committee this time. Yay! That was like one of my dreams come true, to do that. Now twice.
Yeah, small board does say about a dozen.
About a dozen. I don't like that about. I want a number! Maybe the new version will have that. Yeah, we heard the new version is coming out in August.
Which means a good chunk of this may not matter.
Nah, they only change it a little.
Most of it will. It's just,
You know what I bet, though?
I'll bet you that flight to Pittsburgh takes off before my flight to Houston.
Bet? No, I bet in...
Friendly way.
No, I made a bet in 3 years. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Keep things interesting, pass the time.
Okay, how much?
How about 200?
You're on, cowboy.
Here I am betting again. God, I've got a problem.
I should have brought all my loose change.
Bring me some scratch-off cards. Boy, I get into those. I bet they adopt some kind of rules for email voting.
Oh, you can almost guarantee they're going to do that.
Even though they hate it.
There has been so much yelling and screaming for them for the past several years that they needed to get with the program when it comes to email votes, that they probably feel like, okay, we'll figure something out. And by the way, that creates one hell of a crazy pile. It's not impossible, though.
Yeah, we could talk about email votes and everything, but that's a whole other thing to do on that.
Therein lies so many tales.
Yes, therein lies oblivion.
At that moment, I felt like I understood things like the existence of eternity.
All right, so let's see. We're going. I wasn't like you. I didn't go to the page ahead of time. 405, 29 through 36.
Page. It's a freeway in Los Angeles. 29 through 36. Okay. On a tie vote. Okay, the section is titled Tie Votes in Cases Which the Chair's Vote Affects the Result. I'll start at the top, which is a little higher than that. If the presiding officer is a member of the assembly, he can vote as any other member when the vote is by ballot. See page 414, blah, blah, blah. In all other cases, the presiding officer, if a member of the assembly, can, but is not obliged to, vote whenever his vote will affect the result. That is, he can vote to either break or to cause a tie, or in a case where 2/3 votes required, he can vote to either cause or to block the attainment of the necessary 2/3. In particular, on a tie vote, a motion requiring a majority vote for adoption is lost since a tie is not a majority, right? We said that. Thus, if there is a tie without the chair's vote, the presiding officer can, if he is a member, vote in the affirmative, thereby causing the motion to be adopted, or if there is more than one affirmative, or if there is one more in the affirmative than in the negative without the chair's vote, for example, 72 in favor, 71 opposed, he can vote in the negative to create a tie, thus causing the motion to be rejected. Similarly, in the case of a motion requiring 2/3, if without the chair votes, the number of the affirmative is one less than twice the number of the negative, for example, 59 in favor and 30 against, the chair, if a member, can vote in the affirmative just cause the motion to be adopted, or if there is like a 2/3 in the affirmative without his vote, 60 to 31, the chair can vote in the negative, with the result being the motion is rejected. Asterisk, we'll come back to it. Similarly, the chair's vote might affect the result in cases where a majority of the members can decide the question. The chair cannot vote twice, once as a member and then against capacity as presiding officer.
No, not the appeal. We're not even going to go there. Now to the asterisk.
Asterisk, yes. Yes. It should be noted that if, without the chair's vote, the number of negative votes is one more than half the number of the affirmative votes, this is the 2/3 again, the chair's vote cannot affect the result. Thus, if there are 60 in favor and 31 against, without the chair's vote, if you were to vote in the affirmative, the resulting 61 in the affirmative would still fall short of the 2/3 of the total vote of 92.
Got it.
So you got to do the math a little bit.
And just as a matter of procedure, it's interesting on the LNC. So I do the roll call vote as secretary in alphabetical order, but I skip the chair. So, Sarwark, he's before alphabetically Smith and Van Horn,
right,
and Wentz. So I skip him. I take everyone's vote, and then say, Mr. Chair, the vote is X versus S. Does the chair wish to vote? And he'll only vote in a tie generally.
The way I used to do it was I would just go around the table, all the way around on the hook, and then come back to the end. If I had to vote, chair in the meeting, I would. But
this just raised a question for me.
What's it?
And you just read it, so you might be able to answer. If his vote will not affect the result, does he have the right to vote?
Sure.
I thought they weren't supposed to vote unless it affects the result.
This goes into the problem of the juggling act of a member being the presiding officer versus just being a member. Okay, I've always held the argument that as you're a member, you still have the voting rights and you have the right to do that vote one way or another. If your vote doesn't affect the outcome of the vote, of the total vote, it shouldn't matter. What torques me here...
You're not going to start twerking, are you?
torque, not twerk.
Oh.
I don't twerk.
Alrighty.
Only twerps twerk. But anyway, yes, I said that. The problem I have with it is that if you're one short of a vote passing or failing, that puts a hell of a lot of power in the hands of one person. Especially if they can induce a motion to fail by casting a vote in the negative. That bothers me. In a lot of ways, it almost should be like the chair shouldn't vote unless it's a dead tie for one way or the other. In other words,
I know what you're saying.
yeah, if you can't, you break a tie or break a deadlock is one thing, but causing one,
But causing a tie does cause a deadlock.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, I love doing that though. I'm still confused though about the right of the chair in a not small board to vote. I'm trying to find that. Trying to find where it says that, or is it just assumed because he's a member, as you said?
Let's see, ex officio, body subordinate.
I already did
to the
50
board.
through 51, so now I'm going to go through 53 through 54.
And I'm back in 49, but procedure in small boards. Rules governing me, motions and meeting don't need to be seconded. No limit of debate. I hate that one.
Well, I love that in committees.
You were there and Star around?
Mr. Starr, are you making a formal request for a ruling?
Yeah, we don't have 323 people here, or whatever that number is. Well, the reason why quorum is important is because it protects the people who are not here. That is the purpose. It protects the rights of the people who are not in the room. I made this same argument 2 years ago. We've upheld that time and time again. So we do not have a quorum. We need to protect the rights of the people who are not yet here.
Mr. Starr, I observe at the back of the room that there are probably at least 323 people in this room. I will rule that there is a quorum in this room. Would you like to appeal that ruling?
I believe we're on our way to achieving a quorum. I think we should try and get it as much as possible, but I do not believe we have a quorum. So I request that you request that people come into the room so we can conduct business.
I believe that that is happening, and I would like to proceed with business. Do you have an objection to proceeding at this time with the accepting of those delegates that Ms. Hogarth read off?
I object, and I request that we make efforts to bring people into the room so that everyone's rights are protected.
I believe there is a quorum in this room right now, and we will proceed.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I just don't believe that's true yet. I think it will be soon.
The ruling of the chair is there is a quorum in the room. Would you like to appeal from the ruling of the chair?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Is there a second? Dies for lack of a second.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
I would like to hear what everyone has to say, and other people shut it down, so...
If the chairman is a member, he may, without leaving the chair...
This is for small boards.
Correct. Speak in informal discussions and in debate and vote on all questions, double asterisk. Informal discussion may be initiated by the chairman himself, which in effect enables the chairman to submit his own proposals without formally making a motion as described on pages 33 35, although he has the right to make a motion if he wishes. So,
okay, but this is where I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go to the intro for procedure in small boards, in a board where there are not more than about a dozen, some of the formality that is necessary in a large assembly, which makes me think it's necessary that the chair does not vote unless the vote would affect the results. Do you understand how I'm getting there?
Sort of.
So, I'm confused. And I do not want to have to consult the priesthood. Okay, one other place to look. So that's small board votes. 405 through 406 and 421 are the only other places there would be something. And the reason I'm curious now, I'm curious if I am correct in asking the
405,
chair.
406 is what we just read off in the first place.
421 then. It's the last one. Because I want to know if I'm incorrect in asking if the chair wishes to vote when it's obvious, it won't affect.
I think as a matter of protocol, it's a good thing to do across the board anyway, but...
Okay, here's the roll call.
Top of 421, yeah. All presiding officers...
And only when his vote will affect the result. So, we've been doing this wrong. Right here, beginning of 421. Yeah. I'll read it. The roll is called in alphabetical order, except that the presiding officer's name is called last.
You've been doing that part right.
Right. And only when his vote will affect the result. So, I gotta change that. But I'm going to let Nick know ahead of time why I'm doing that. I don't want him to think I'm disrespecting him. I'll put it on the L&C list.
Okay, but then that raises the question then. Is that not by precluding the presiding officer, if they're a member, from voting by not calling for them? Isn't that stomping on their voting rights as a member?
Nobody forced them to be chair.
Right. But they also didn't forfeit the right to vote by becoming chair.
Parliamentarians aren't supposed to go and debate. So like a parliamentarian can be a member of the assembly and they lose certain...
Yeah, I always disagree with that one too.
I think what they think is because they get certain privileges, and with privileges come cost.
Yeah, and that is something I've always disagreed with Robert's rules. Is just because you have a position as a parliamentarian or presiding officer, if you're a member, you don't, unless you explicitly say it in your bylaws or special rules, you can't be forced to sacrifice your member rights.
But with the parliamentarian, I think
this was the argument I had with Victoria and the board at the beginning of this last term.
I think the parliamentarian
was, quote unquote, I'm still a member. Damn it.
Well, yeah, that. The parliamentarian, I think, can vote. There's some limit, maybe.
They can.
I did this in the brief for California, and I couldn't remember. There was something about it.
They can, because I remember going off on Victoria on that, because it's like, look, I'm still a member. I still have a right to vote when the vote.
But you weren't a member of the board, though.
I wasn't a member, and I wasn't voting as a member of the board.
Right. So it had nothing to do with nothing.
I was actually helping them do their proper procedure and to formulate their motions correctly. But I wasn't voting. And I knew that.
Well, I'll find that at some other time. It's just interesting, I think. But now, when I'm editing this, I gotta say that I'm gonna write the L&C list and let Nick know, because I don't want him to think I'm, being bitchy.
But, I still hold a position that regardless of the title held, you're still a member. If you're still a member, you're still a member, and you still have those rights, unless you yourself explicitly waive them. You can't be forced to waive them because of the title. That's just ridiculous.
You weren't forced to take the title.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that unless they're going to explicitly say that taking this title means you waive these rights.
I think that's basically what Robert says, though. So if the bylaws, though, could change that.
Yes.
So if a particular society wanted, then they could do that. All right, I think we're good. I'm stealing his gavel. But not, you said I can't hit it hard, right? One time you got really mad.
Well, I'm trying to keep nice with this thing.
Trying to keep it nice, so I'm not going to bang it on there. All right, I like this discussion, and we are adjourned. This is you.
Viva! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.